Well, good afternoon. We are finally gathered here to dedicate and welcome this great piece of art to the Edmond Public Art Collection. This opportunity to acquire was started over 30 months ago in November of 2013. But we are finally here to welcome this piece. I want to thank all the city staff who work with our Art in Public Places program, specifically Cindy Cavell, who's the keeper of the records. But there are also a couple of other folks who were significant to bringing this particular piece to Edmond, and Craig Dishman, who brought the logistics for the move, and Ryan Oxner, who was responsible for the platform that the piece sits on. I believe others today will comment on the history and the significance of Touch the Clouds and the artist, so I want to share some Edmond background. In the late 1990s, Edmond conducted a community dialogue with over 200 citizen participants and created a vision known as Tomorrow's Edmond. The project incorporated the work of 11 task force groups, and they all identified some key issues for Tomorrow's Edmond. The community of each task force identified the key issue of emphasized development of arts and cultural opportunities. The Culture and History Task Force identified a couple of key issues. One was use Route 66 as a tourism opportunity. Another was develop a strategy for the purchase, promotion, and preservation of public art. Well, public art has been an active effort in Edmond since October of 2001, and to date there are 170 pieces of public art around Edmond, with a total public investment of just over $2 million from various sources, another $1.7 million in private money through the partnership program, and an estimated value north of $5 million. Edmond has received regional and national recognition for our Art in Public Places program, which is overseen by the Visual Arts Commission, which is a group of citizens serving Edmond. Touch the Clouds, however, is a council addition to the public art in Edmond. Its location on historic Route 66 is a grand piece of work with a visual impact that adds to the fulfillment of these key issues from the project. The overall vision statement is Edmond will be a diverse and innovative hometown, committed to excellence through leadership, balanced growth, and cooperation. And these high standards will only be accomplished by citizen participation. I believe Touch the Cloud represents the concept of innovative leadership and excellence, as does the whole art program here. In closing, I want to thank UCO and Dr. Betz for their cooperation in allowing the use of this great location on Route 66 for this striking piece of art.
What a great day for Edmond and the University of Central Oklahoma. So on behalf of the faculty and the staff and the students, I say welcome. We are more than pleased to have Touch the Clouds here, and that it once again crystallizes the relationship that exists between the University of Central Oklahoma and Edmond. We grew up together. When Edmond was founded, so was the Territorial Normal School, and from that time, each of us has moved forward. I was so pleased that the mayor pointed out, as will be pointed out several times today, the focus on public art and the role that art plays in our lives. And I've always been impressed, when I lived in Edmond or not, with this commitment that we have to championing public art. It makes a difference. But this has to be the crown jewel. This past year at the university, every year we celebrate a passport to a new country. This last year, thanks to Dr. James Darrow and others, we celebrated a passport to Native America. And I couldn't think of a better manifestation of that long-term commitment that we have to the Native peoples of this state. Even the name of our state evinces that notion of the Native peoples. This next year, we're going to be hosting the first Indigenous Peoples Day on our campus. We're going to be inviting representatives from all of the 39 federally recognized tribes here in Oklahoma to come together and to talk about the present and the future Native peoples in Oklahoma. And what a great welcome we're going to be able to offer. I am so proud to play, and this university is very proud to play, a very small but niche part in the fact that Touch the Clouds will be here for a long time. An individual who represents perhaps some of the finest qualities of his Lakota people, revered for his strength and his wisdom, but also for his diplomatic skills, and invited to the White House, as many of you know. So we have looked across the spectrum of Touch the Clouds contributions and believe that he represents in many ways some of the very virtues that we try to instill in our students and have for the last 126 years. I'm very pleased to welcome David McGary's wife and daughter here. We are proud to have them on our campus. Look forward to returning many, many times. So on behalf of all of us at UCO, thank you so much, and we look forward to being the home for this wonderful piece of art for many, many years to come.
A little bit about Touch the Clouds, and actually what you need to know is written on the plaque in front there, but 1838 to 1905, he was a brave warrior, Lakota Sioux tribe, a very big man, and he was known for his bravery and for his diplomacy. As Dr. Betz said, he actually had been to Washington, D.C. several times. He was a delegate to D.C. in 1877. But the most enduring trait was that he was a tireless advocate for his people. And Dave McGary was known and is known for doing research on his pieces and making sure they are historically correct. So I will guarantee you everything about this piece is historically correct. Dave is, in my opinion, the premier Native American sculptor in the world. I want to tell you a little bit about how the piece got here, because it's kind of an interesting story. It kind of gives credence to the old saying, be careful what you ask for, City Council, you might get it. Charles and some other council members and public members had mentioned to me over the years, we really need some more monumental pieces in our collection. And I said, I agree, I couldn't agree more, but you know, monumental pieces of bronze are very expensive. This piece in 1998 was worth about $250,000. Well, lo and behold, I'm in Santa Fe, Dana and I are in Santa Fe one night, and I get a call from Kathy Thomas, who I think was in Rio Dosa at the time, and she's excited, and I'm wondering what in the world's going on that she's calling me out here while I'm on vacation and she's on vacation. Randel, the Astrodome, the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Association is selling Touch the Clouds for a $50,000 contribution to their scholarship fund. We need it in Edmond. And she was right. And then she called me and said, can you get it here? I said, well, no, I can't, but I can go talk to the council and see. They've been very supportive of public art, and they have mentioned they want more monumental pieces, and this would be the creme de la creme. Go to the council. They liked the idea. We researched it, and they did, in fact, buy it for $50,000. And there's probably $50,000 worth of metal in this piece. They then transported it here, which was a job in and of itself. And I want to thank the City Council for your foresight and for purchasing the piece outright. Once we got it, the hardest part was deciding where to locate it. And we went through that process for quite some time. Originally, we talked about putting it on the yard across the street at the forensic building. That didn't work out, too much state bureaucracy. So called Dr. Betz and said, Don, we've partnered on many art pieces at the university. What do you think about putting Touch the Clouds on Highway 66 in front of the university? Didn't even miss a beat. He was ready to do it. I hadn't thought about it, but Touch the Clouds is a pretty appropriate title for a piece at a university. That's what we all aspire our students to do. So thank you, Don, President Betz, for letting us put it here. Then we needed to refinish it. It had been in Houston for almost 20 years with that environment down there with no maintenance. So the Visual Arts Commission raised $30,000 privately, all private money. Some of those donors are here. On the other side of this bronze is a plaque denoting those that gave money to the restoration. We raised $30,000 to put it in pristine, brand new condition. And that's what you're seeing today, the result of those efforts. So thank you to the Visual Arts Commission and city staff. I'm told by Meyer Gallery in Santa Fe and Claggett Ray and Vail that this piece in its current condition as it sits here today is worth $500,000. I think that's a pretty significant amount. We'll never sell it. will hopefully never move it, Don, because I saw them move it both places. But it is a iconic piece by a superb sculptor, and it's on an iconic location right here on Route 66. So I think it will become a Route 66 icon with those two things. Lastly, I just want to say thanks to Molly and Bronwyn for being here. Dave McGary is one of my favorite sculptors ever. The guy was a genius and a creative mastermind. And we really, I think, did a coup when we got this piece in Edmond and got it this location. I knew how important it was to Dave based on what Molly had told me, and I wanted her to be happy with what we were doing, because we were little old Edmond and not many people knew about our program, even though we probably surpassed 90% of the programs in the country. And so she's told me that she and Bronwyn are happy, and if they're happy, I'm happy. And I know Dave's looking down on us, and he's very happy. So thank you for supporting public art.
I am honored to be speaking on behalf of my father, Dave McGary. Before his passing, it was a goal of his to have the monument moved from Houston to a prominent location where it could be admired and enjoyed. My father was a one-of-a-kind artist, and when I say one-of-a-kind, I truly mean there is no one and will never be another Dave McGary who can create something so beautiful as what is dedicated before us today. Touch the Clouds, the subject of this monument, was a Lakota Sioux chief of the late 19th century who stood 7 feet tall in real life. Touch the Clouds was the cousin and lifelong friend of the famous Oglala Sioux warrior Crazy Horse. He left a history of kinship and faithfulness to his ideals and his friends that lingers in the tribal memories today and is depicted in this large monument. My father once said, "I really enjoy doing the big public pieces because so many folks get to see them. Creating monumental dreams is a monumental passion of mine. Creating large footsteps in bronze for when I'm gone is a soothing thought, footprints for the general public to touch and feel and be emotionally attached to." Hanging above my father's door in his studio was his motto, "There are no limits," which challenged him to sculpt without concern of the casting process. His understanding of the bronze casting was second to none, and therefore changing the look, feel, quality, and sculpture of America today. The indigenous people he sculpts recognize and respect his commitment to portraying their culture and history in a very proud and accurate way. The Native American community embraced him and called him a spiritual messenger because he brought the pride, bravery, and sacred awareness of each tribe to life in his work. It was his gentle spirit and his respect for everyone he met that endeared him to so many in the Native American community. A little windy. Dave McGary was a very humble man whose fame was wide and accomplishments many. He was asked several years before his passing how he would like to be remembered. His reply was, "For having documented with respect the culture of Native American people, for being innovative and establishing my own creative techniques and style of work. I hope I have changed the way people look at the work, and I hope that bronze sculpture for showing that there really are no limits in what is responsible and possible in bronze, and what I can capture an amazing amount of detail and depth of color for another level of realism." He was adopted into the Sioux Red Elk family and given the name Big Eagle for the way he spread the Native American way. My father once told me that Gerald Red Elk introduced him to a spiritual man named Joe Flying By. He and Joe immediately responded to one another. He would grab my father by the arm and walk him around the meadows at Fort Peck Sioux Reservation and talk about the spiritual beliefs of the Lakota and said, "You've been blessed with a gift to share with others. Always give back." And my father said, "I always have him on my shoulder reminding me of that." In conclusion, I hope this monument will act as a beacon of education to enlighten the world of a great culture, past, present, and for the future. Thank you all for coming.